are now listening to the Sportz Nutz.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sportz Nutz.
Good evening.
Guys, we just did the amazing adventure. Shane, would you please share with everybody the great news?
Oh yeah, well, as we've been talking about for the past few episodes, we're right there on the cusp of that 1,000 subscriber here on YouTube. Man, we made it. We got officially 1,000 subscribers today. We appreciate everybody out there, man. It's great, man, that y'all support us and that we have the droves of people already, at this young frame on what we're trying to do. And man, it's incredible news, and great for us, but great for everybody else out there as well.
Absolutely, guys. Sorry, we're trying to get our guest. His audio is not fully there yet. Let's see. He said so. Hold on, built-in mic. All right, guys. So obviously today is a special moment for all of us here at the Sportz Nutz to hit the 1,000 mark. We will have our guest on momentarily. Matt is going to help him just a moment. We're trying to get everything set up right away. Can't wait for that one. But guys, we have a great show lined up. We absolutely do. We have Brian McInnis. He is from Spectrum Sports Hawaii. Yes, we're going to talk some UH baseball. It is a win and in kind of moment right now, meaning the Big West tournament. All we need to do is just win one more, and we automatically are in. But you know what I say? Let's go ahead and win all three and just shut the doubters down right then and there, and we'll get it. Hey, then we also, guys, the Atlanta Braves have officially started a Major League Baseball history trend. What is that I'm talking about? We'll actually talk a little bit about that in just a moment. And then, guys, this one is absolutely one of my favorite things to talk about. Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson, among others, have been officially lifted off the ban list. We mentioned that last episode. We'll dive a little bit more into that one. Can't wait to get it going. Okay. And then we were trying to get it going through that way, but we're gonna dive into. I really want to dive into this one. Shane's got some good information on that one, guys. We know the official schedule for all the NFL teams. Let's talk a little bit about that one. I want to hear about your thoughts on that one. Obviously, the Atlanta Falcons have been awarded quite a bit of primetime games. We'll talk a little about that one. We saw the Cleveland Cavaliers. We saw the Golden State Warriors. They have been bounced. Could we see Boston be bounced next? We'll talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs and the seeding really matter. Ronald Acuna Jr., Spencer Strider, they are back. Well, actually, back in about 1 or 2 weeks. The Braves, like I said,
down in Gwinnett this weekend, isn't it?
Yep, they're down in Gwinnett this weekend. They've already started something going there. They are at 500. We'll talk some more about that one as well. And y'all, what is going on with Atlanta United? My goodness. We're going to have a special guest come on and talk some soccer. He is a bona fide soccer expert. Guys, according to ESPN, the Savannah Bananas, could they be joining the MILB ranks? We'll talk about that one. And as you guys just heard, excuse me, we are at the 1,000 subscriber mark. We have some breaking news for the Sportz Nutz. We're going to share that in just a few minutes as well. And did the Indianapolis Colts break the bro code rule? We'll talk a little bit about that one. And then we'll talk a little bit more NHL as well. So we can't get going further on that one, but I'm excited to share this one. This gentleman sitting next to us, though, Mr. Dave.
Yes,
this
sir.
Is Hank's dad. Mr. Dave, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. We're sweating it out in Memphis. We got humidity up our ears right now, but it's going to rain a little bit and make it hotter, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, we're
here.
Nasty weather. You guys are on that almost 90% guarantee of severe tornadoes, so be safe out there.
It's just the way it is here. We get the bluff. They say it doesn't really happen, but every time something comes into the bluff, it blows away a little bit, so we get a little break from it. It's a mess sometimes.
Absolutely. And then this gentleman's sitting right below me, Mr. Shane Owen. Man, how are you doing, sir?
Man, doing good. I can, up here in the mountains, man, the humidity's been horrible the past couple of days with all the rain that we've had. I think totaled just under 5 inches in about 4 days.
Yeah, it's been insane with the rain here too.
Going across the mountains, coming home from work today, man, it was just almost looked like fog, and it was raining still. Man, it's a pleasure to be out here, man. Like I said earlier, man, so happy to get this accomplishment and this goal that we had reached here today, man. Can't say enough for the people out there that watch us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me pull Brian on. Brian, unmute your mic real quick and tell me if you can. And we'll see if we can hear you, sir. You are muted. Let's see. No, well, let me do it. Can you unmute it? Are you able to? All right. Nope. Still can't hear you. Gosh darn. Do you want to try and do it on your phone, perhaps? Come on that way. I can send you the link again. You want me to do that? Do a thumbs up. Oh, there we go, Mike. There we go, Mike. We hear you.
It kept trying to go to my iPhone for some reason.
Oh my goodness,
I had
that's
to
crazy.
switch it over twice. Yeah, I don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, the man himself, Mr. Brian McInnis. Brian, how are you doing? Aloha, brother. How you doing?
Aloha to you guys. Thanks so much for having me. Happy to join you here today. 6 time zones removed. I'm looking at Shane's background. It looks like a very nice backdrop there. I guess, are you guys all in Atlanta?
So
Outside Atlanta?
I'm in Easley, South Carolina. He's in Asheville area.
Yeah, just south of Asheville and Brevard, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Dave is in
Memphis,
Memphis,
Tennessee. Yeah.
And our other guy, Matt, will be joining us momentarily. He is in Norcross, Georgia. So I'm actually from the Roswell, Georgia area. I've known Matt for over 20 years. So, and I met Shane last year. He's been with us for the entire time, and just a lot of fun doing that. So, obviously, Brian, I gotta shout out you and Kanoa's call last night. You were with him last night, weren't you? With UH's baseball win, weren't you?
I was in the ballpark. I wasn't on the call with him or anything on Spectrum Sports, but I was in the area doing my thing for the Spectrum News app, taking photos and doing some post game interviews for my write up.
I'm so surprised you have a voice, man, because I'd be screaming my voice off right there, because that was an exciting win. Obviously this weekend it is a win, and you're in. The magic number, is 1. And like I said, let's just go ahead and win all 3 and put the doubters to rest, and let us be like the team that's going to rule the Big West tournament. Look, Irvine's a good team. Fullerton's a good team. But, what is the mindset around Manoa, around the entire island of Oahu, and, of course, the whole state of Hawaii? Like, knowing that there is the possibility could make that run to Omaha.
Yeah, that they're going to have to take it in incremental steps here. They got to get one more win in these last 2 games, as you said, Brandon. UC San Diego is a very capable team. They're fighting for their tournament lives as well. So, they're not just going to roll over. Coach Rich Hill threw some of his best arms at the Tritons in that first game of the series. Didn't want to leave anything to chance, and now they're just hoping they can piece together, something out of their last couple starters and bullpen that could get them across the finish line. I would like their chances at playing at Les Murakami Stadium. You asked about the vibe here on Oahu with the baseball team, and the fan base has really backed those guys. They sold out all 4 games of their 4-game series against Oregon State a couple weeks ago. And they had a really nice Thursday night showing against UCSD last night. I would expect it. I believe tonight might be sold out, and I would expect a really nice senior day crowd on Sunday as well. So, they're kind of, everyone's trying to will these guys into that big 5-team Big West tournament as either the 4 seed or the 5 seed. So even once they get there, if they get there, they got a lot of work to do, because that first game between the 4 and the 5 is an instant knockout game just to get to the double elim portion of the tournament, which they've introduced this year. So, yes, you're right, though. A lot of excitement around them.
I can't wait. Shane, you have a question. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, I know it's a little early to tell, but as you alluded to it, the tournament's next week. 1 out of 3 against the team that you guys are facing this weekend. It seems pretty feasible, in my opinion. But kind of what would you look forward to if you guys get that and all, and then just kind of give us a little insight and kind of close in on the softball season that you guys had that was so great.
Sure, Shane. Yeah, they just got to get one out of these last 2. They're actually off Saturday for graduation. But I know they like their chances. Their lineup has really come together. They got their starting third baseman Elijah Iquez back from injury last week at Cal State Fullerton, and it's just now going to be a matter of piecing together enough pitching to get them there, I think. So they're in 32 wins. That's about what they've been under Coach Rich Hill these last few years since he came over from University of San Diego. And this time, this tournament being there, this is the first year the Big West brought it, has made a world of difference in terms of late season enthusiasm, I think, not just for the team, but for the fan base. They have made some really outstanding runs late in the year. Last year, they went on a really crazy, impressive run to close it out. And yet they didn't go anywhere just because the point that they started from to begin that run was so far behind. So now they have something definite to play for. And if they can keep playing as hot as they've tended to do under Rich Hill at this time of the year, it can only, play into their hands, I see. So as far as softball season, they made a really nice run at it in the first Big West softball tournament ever under Coach Bob Coolin, the last of his 34 years as the veteran Rainbow Wahine softball coach. They surprised some folks up there at Cal State Fullerton by defeating Long Beach in the opening game in a bit of a slugfest, and then turning right around and upsetting the host team, the top seed Cal State Fullerton, who's been, along with Long Beach, those two have been the traditional powers in Big West softball. So they certainly made a run at it. After that, they lost twice in one day to get bounced. But, it was a nice showing for Coach Coolin, I thought. And, the players had something to be proud of in his last run there.
It's been, 15 years since Hawaii had the 2010 home run team in softball. One of the most amazing runs. I can still remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
What is the outlook for 2026 this season? I mean, obviously, we are early to tell, but I know that they've been hitting the ground running really hard with recruiting and NIL and everything going along with it. But what is the vibe with the 2026 team looking like
for softball specifically?
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting, Brandon, to see what direction they go for their coaching search. Coach Coolin, he had it written into his contract, the last extension he got 2 years ago, that those ensuing 2 years would be his last as UH softball coach. So he was under a bit of a uncommon situation, I think, for any college softball coach, knowing, being armed with the knowledge that those would be his last games, his last moments he would spend with his team, pretty definitively. So it was something he talked about all season long, and then especially leading up to the Big West tournament. They recruited, I will give them credit, remarkably well for a coach in that kind of lame duck situation. Brought in some pretty nice local talent from mainland, transfers from D1s to really bolster the lineup. And a lot of folks think that it might now go to his longtime top assistant, Deidre Wisniewski, who's been with him forever. She was one of his former players on one of his first teams as head coach in the early 90s. She was a team captain. She's been a stalwart by his side pretty much his entire time since. And a lot of folks, like I said, would like to see her get that job. Whether she does, I don't know. I would think that they would make a call on that pretty soon, but local person, a woman's coach potentially in that role. I think it checks a lot of boxes, possibly. We'll see what direction acting athletic director Lois Mannon wants to go there, because that is I would think, a call that she would make before a new AD comes in.
Absolutely, and obviously we're all well versed in what's going on with the search, and hopefully they find the next leader of University of Hawaii. We hope and pray that it's going to be a quick and easy resolution soon. Now, like I said, we had Kanoa on our show actually recently. I had a lot of fun with him, so much. So I've idolized his whole family for a long time. I mean, like the whole broadcasting crew for University of Hawaii, Spectrum Sports Hawaii, everything. It's just something about you guys just make it more like enjoyable and enthusiastic, and you both, Kanoa, everybody, you guys have really opened up the eyes of the nation now pretty much to about UH Elastic. Well, especially our audience, we, like I said, we just hit the 1,000 subscribers. Now the level of competition that is coming to UH is some of the best that we have seen actually in quite a while. And knowing this, what do you think ultimately is holding Hawaii back from like landing, 4 or 5 star recruits? Obviously, Coach Chang, he's hitting the ground running really hard. Him and Jeff Reinbold, good friends with me. I'm actually really good friends with Jeff Reinbold, and I see him post regularly that he's hitting like Texas and Vegas, all that kind of stuff. But what do you think is holding UH back from grabbing a 4 or 5 star recruit, or even multiples?
Well, Brandon, I would say that just big picture, UH has been dealing with challenges in terms of the competitive college landscape. When you're talking about NIL, benefits for student athletes, they're about to have that House versus NCAA settlement happen where, there's going to be a framework for universities to directly pay players. And I think the expectation is that gap is only going to widen when you're talking about the big dogs, the power conferences being able to pay, $20 million a year going to their student athletes. And Hawaii is just not going to be able to match that dollar for dollar. They're going to have to get creative. They have had some NIL support, I will say, specifically for men's basketball in the $400,000-$500,000 a year range, which for a mid-major like UH is nothing to sneeze at. They've outclassed most of their Big West opposition in that figure these last 2-3 years since NIL became a thing. So it's not that they can't compete with the teams at their level, but when you're talking about the big dogs, man, that gap is only widening. And football specifically, since you brought that up, Brandon, I mean, they got to get their stadium situation squared away.
Oh yes.
Until that gets, until there's a firm like shovels in the ground for that, which the cost just keeps going up. There's been disagreements in the legislature about the direction of the project. They've been trying to get it executed for years now. This summer, June, July is when either they're going to get a final contract execution for a new stadium with a development group of bidders or not. And then we'll know whether it's a reality or if it was just a mirage. So once that gets squared away, you would hope then the football team will have something tangible that I think it can kind of grasp on to sell recruits on. Funding wise, it's all tied together, and that's been a thing hanging over the program since the pandemic, since they've had to play on campus games at the Clarence T.C. Ching Athletics Complex since 2010. So that would be the first thing, the main thing really that I would point to for them to solve before they can think about getting those top tier recruits that you were talking about.
Yeah, I was at first off, I was at the Boise versus UH for the WAC championship game. I can still remember the stadium at Aloha Stadium shaking. I can remember it like vibrating. It was an unbelievable atmosphere. We had to get there, like 4 hours in advance because there was absolutely zero. There was zero parking available at that game. That was a phenomenal. And then I was also privileged to stay up. I wasn't that thinking, but I stayed up. I was in Atlanta at the time. I stayed up for the Washington game. That game, it was almost 5:30 in the morning in Atlanta when it ended. And I can remember screaming as loud as I humanly possibly could. I woke my wife up at the time, and she was like, what? And I go, you have no idea what just happened. Colt Brennan and Jason Rivers, all of them, they just came back. They just won the game. They're 12-0. Oh my God, this is an unbelievable moment. And I have to say here, I tell this to everybody. Hawaii got the short straw that year playing Georgia. I think UH honestly should have played in the Rose Bowl instead of Illinois, or maybe have gone and faced Illinois in the Rose Bowl. I think they would have won. And then Georgia should have played for the national championship that year. That team was absolutely loaded.
Right.
But I mean, God, that was such a memorable experience being a part of the fan base that, when you go in there and the place is absolutely shaking. That is something that not many people can say that, I mean, Shane is he's a big Virginia Tech guy. He'll even tell you, Enter Sandman comes on it kind of like shows up on the Richter scale, and it just something about that, you know what I mean?
I do, and I know exactly what you mean. That 07 year, particularly those last two home games to cap it off, were formative kind of experiences for me as a sports writer in Hawaii. That 07 year, I was just lucky, honestly. That was my first year as a full-time sports reporter at the old Honolulu Star Bulletin newspaper. And I got to cover all their home games as a sidebar writer. We had our more experienced guys as the beat writer, as the columnists. I was, along with my colleague at the time, Billy Hull, we were just the two, early 20s young guys who just were like not knowing, we had no idea, we didn't know better. We just like, wow, okay, we get to cover this, cool. And my editor, I remember Paul Arnett telling us, guys, like, he would call us Bubba. He's like, Bubba, like, don't get used to this. This is a once in a however long kind of situation. And he was proven exactly right, because there hasn't been anything like that since, for sure.
No, and Shane's got a question I'm going to have in a minute, but I think it's going to come back. I'm good friends with Bryant Moniz, great guy. Absolutely enjoyed him. He played for the Georgia Forest Arena football team. I talk to him quite often, and I know his daughter just played. Yeah, his daughter just played. She played flag football. I think they came up short in the championship game, correct?
They did. It was 6-0 for Campbell High School out there in Eva Beach over Bryant Moniz's Leluhua Mules. Good game.
Yeah. I'm excited for the future of UH, and man, I can't tell you how much UH gear I have, because I have unbelievable amounts. My wife has said, if we renovate the house we live in, we're going to have a studio, and I'm going to have all of my memorabilia up. I have a lot. I have the game worn helmet signed by the entire Sugar Bowl team. So wow. I have that. I keep that. That's my pride and my pride and joy. That and my Atlanta Falcons. I have Tony Gonzalez, who has signed that Falcons helmet, and those are forever going to be put in the frame. But Shane, you have a question. I want you to go ahead and ask.
Oh yeah, well, kind of as we've seen with current recruits, as far as DJ, Mariota, kind of staying on the West Coast. I know you kind of answered it earlier in saying that once you pencil in the Aloha Stadium kind of new deal, that all come to fruition. And so, with that being said, I want to dive a little bit further into that, in making the jump to the Mountain West, in the coming future, and even the state of current exit fees and everything else. Do you think with that boost in that monetary value towards the university would help in that sense? And kind of just what are your thoughts on it as a whole?
Yeah, man, that's a fair question. There was a point in time during that heavy conference realignment period where it looked like the teams that were going to stay with the Mountain West are going to be in line for a payout of some sort. Now, UH, as they were a football-only member in that moment in time, they had to settle for a very small fraction of what other schools in the league, based on their
revenue. You can say it, revenue share.
Right. So like UNLV, for example, got the biggest chunk, I believe, at like 25%, something like that. And the Mountain West right now probably feels it has to do whatever it can to incentivize those guys to stay, which I think is understandable. we'll see how it all lands first, man, because the Pac-12 is out there still needing one more football member, to my knowledge. And
that would be great. I would love to see that.
Well,
I wanna see
UH
Sacramento
has
State do it.
UH has gone down that road of exploration, and they were turned away. So I don't know what would cause that to change right now. But that is a little bit of a threat right now, because if they do succeed in pulling a UNLV and maybe like a Nevada tied with it, that's been one of the rumor mills spinning even now still.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to link this back, with the new stadium though. Do you think that matters, especially with UNLV being right there with when they brought the Raiders in there with that stadium there, and how big it could possibly be, for conference tournaments and or finales, championship games, and all that, kind of if you do ink that stadium deal. I mean, we saw it for years. The Pro Bowl was in Hawaii. It was great to see, and it was fun competition, kind of lighthearted, but it was the actual real game at the end of it instead of what we have today. So,
Right.
so kind of linking that together, and as you're sharing the stuff about UNLV, that kind of revenue share, profit, all those margins kind of increase whenever you have the facilities that you guys are looking to bring.
Yeah, they've laid out kind of the aspirational version of what they hope to build, and then there's also the more bare bones version that they may end up getting. We'll see what kind of private money comes in. It's going to have to be in the hundreds of millions of dollars for it to get to the kind of aspirational stadium that they laid out on the higher side, and even that being about 30,000 seats, maybe. 25K is the baseline of what they're looking at right now. We'll see if they can hold to that, because like I mentioned, costs.
That's like a high school stadium for a lot of places.
It just keeps, it's been a kind of vicious cycle of, oh, hey, puppy. As a big boy, it looks like.
Great Dane.
Great Dane.
About 180 pounds.
Nice. It's kind of been a vicious cycle of, okay, the costs have kept going up, which gives like the legislature pause, and then while they hesitate, the costs keep going up, and it's they just need to get out of that.
Endless cycle is what it sounds like, honestly.
That's right. So if they can get some stadium that they're saying that maybe they can build out over time, if the demand is there, if the funds are there, that might be the best case scenario they're looking at right now. Now, it could be a really nice stadium. They've looked at Snapdragon Stadium for San Diego State, which got done really fast and for a pretty good bang for the buck, a lot of bells and whistles. They might try to pattern it something like that. They're talking about an entertainment district surrounding the stadium itself with, hotels and amenities, things like that. So there's a lot of encouraging on paper things with it, Shane, but this summer will prove whether it's reality or mirrors.
Oh yeah, time will tell, as they say.
That's right.
So I got one more question for you, and then we'll obviously let you enjoy your wonderful weekend, and go and cheer on the best team there ever was in baseball. But Dylan Gabriel, he's one of the most notable athletes that come from the great state of Hawaii. Obviously Marcus Mariota is mentioned in there. Now we have seen a lot of amazing athletes come from both the state of Hawaii. They've come from from American Samoa, just basically the Polynesian talent. The Atlanta Dream actually just got their hands with a Polynesian descent with Pau Pau. She played at University of South Carolina. She's a great shooter, absolutely one of the best. What does this say to you, though, about the future of the Pacific Islander type athletes? Because obviously it was always known that the West Coast was really going to be the ones that would stick their hand in that pocket to get, like, University of Washington State. Obviously they call it the UNLV, the Ninth Island, that kind of thing with Las Vegas. But what does this say to you about the Pacific Islanders, for the fact that the East Coast is now really starting to dabble into the Pacific?
Yeah. Marcus, I think a lot can be credited to him for really kind of drawing attention to what a local born and raised quarterback here can do. And they've been kind of just being pumped out at both the D1 level, and some guys like Tua Tagovailoa have made it all the way to the next level. Now, as you said, Dylan Gabriel's getting his shot with the Browns. So it's been quite remarkable. There's another quarterback coming through the pipeline, Jaren Keave Sangapolutele out of Campbell High. He's going up to play at Cal this coming year. Another future pro
with
prospect
ridiculous
there.
stats,
So,
by the way. His stats. I remember reading it. I'm like, oh my god, is this even like true? I mean, he is. You know who he's the gunslinger, kind of like the Brett Favre, slinging it.
Very fun to watch. Enjoyed covering his high school career these last 2-3 years. But yeah, man, I mean, per capita, Hawaii, Polynesia just, has proven over time it has pumped out, one of the best rates per capita population wise of pro NFL players. And we're not necessarily known for our next level basketball players out here, but baseball certainly has got its share of big league brothers as they're referred to out here. And, it's a point of pride for the community for sure that they can continue to produce these guys who play at a high level. And in the past, maybe the stereotype was more, lineman type of positions for football. But like we talked about, there's been a boom of local quarterback talent and as well as other positions. So with events like the Polynesian Bowl, the highlight guys like that here every year, whether it's guys born and raised in Hawaii, trained and grow their game in Hawaii, or Polynesian guys from the mainland coming out to play here for that game. It's been a cool event to see every year. Just, Puka Nakua for the Rams being a prime example. He was Polynesian Bowl MVP a couple years ago and has a local Thai family on Maui, I believe. So, good for that event growing like it has. And it just kind of proves the point of your question.
We're actually good friends with Braden Fajuco. His mom, Linda and Billy Fajuco, formerly Billy the Warrior. Love talking with them. They watch our show all the time, and you're right. The talent is just unheard of. I mean, Alabama, they tapped into it and they've seen great potential showing up. Now you're starting to see it in other locations like Oklahoma, Texas, all that is really going along. This question is actually from one of our guests. Is Manti Te'o still respected in the area, basically in the state of Hawaii? Obviously he was one of the biggest Samoan athletes in recent memory, particularly in college. Is he still well liked in the area?
Yeah, I think so. He was he did commentary. Speaking of the Polynesian Bowl, he was on the broadcast team with Kanoa this past year, and I think that was very well received. I think he's kind of had this full circle of popularity here where people have kind of moved well past that saga that that dogged him for several years there coming out of Notre Dame. And I think he is among the guys who are held in very high esteem, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. Look, Brian, we've had a blast having you on. I know you took I appreciate you taking time out of your day. Obviously, it's it's not as late there as it is here. It's 8:11 in the evening here, but it means a lot that you took time to come on, and I enjoy our conversations, man, and I hope to continue that. And I look forward to maybe getting a message from you saying we're in the Big West tournament. So does that sound like a plan to you?
I will provide updates as soon as tonight. As soon as tonight they could be in, depending on how well they play.
That's right. Let's get it, Bows. Go Bows. Have fun. Let's rock it. Brian, you have yourself a wonderful weekend, sir. Please give our best to everybody there, and aloha, my friend.
Take care, guys. Aloha.
Appreciate it.
Good evening.
Guys, that's so cool to have the inside knowledge about the University of Hawaii, the program itself, and then obviously, we're literally, it's knocking on the door for for UH to be possibly getting into the Big West tournament. I'm my fingers and toes are crossed Can't wait for that one, guys. Let me hear we want to hear y'all's thoughts. Let us know in the stream. You know, obviously we're doing really good tonight. We want to hear a little bit from your guys' point of views. You know, all right. So let's get it going. I wanted to talk about this one, Matt. Goodness, I just called you Matt. Shane, the Atlanta Braves. They finally did it. They made MLB history by being the fastest team to ever start 0-7, make it back to 500, and they are only the sixth team in MLB history to accomplish that feat of getting back to 500. Obviously, the last one was the Detroit Lions. They my goodness, Brandon, you talking about the Detroit Tigers? I'm in the wrong sport, folks. The Detroit Tigers. You know, they I believe it was in the early, like in the 2000s range. They after their 81st game.
It was either 2002 or 2010.
It was in that range, and they got Dave. Do you know the answer to that question?
What's that now on the Brave question?
So the Atlanta Braves became the sixth team ever in Major League Baseball history to start a season 0-7 and make it back to 500. The last one to do it was the Detroit Tigers. What year was that? Do you remember? Is it 2010?
Yeah, that was a lot during my working year, so I didn't keep up quite as much during that time. But I think it was the Tigers. They started out in a bad one, you know, just about like the football team does sometimes. It's understandable you got confused with the football team with the Tigers baseball team.
So it was actually, I just looked it up. Our good friend Brandon Gaudin. And by the way, if you guys don't know who he is, he's the voice of the Atlanta Braves. It was 2008. It was game number 80. Detroit made it to 40-40. The last time the Atlanta Braves made it to 500 was actually in 1980 when they went at 126.
Now that was my era of watching them. So it was with the Joe Torre years, I get off work and watch them get pummeled every day. Hey, you know, the one good thing about it, they had Murphy. If nothing else, they had Murphy.
Yes,
and, you know,
Murphy.
I love Murphy, and you know, I was a real big fan of him. But he was, and you're gonna hate me because you're an Atlanta fan. He was one of the most overrated center fielders that ever lived. You know, I mean, really, with the things around the other ones, you know. And but he was so great. He was just such a good guy and a good you know teammate and everything. Hey, I hate to backtrack. I know this is the cardinal sin of everything. I was being silent because I was hearing to Mark Twain's thing. You know, if you don't have anything to say, you know, let people think you're stupid instead of open your mouth and removing all doubt. As a casual, a little above casual. College everything fan. I love college sports too, but I just don't watch it much. But what is the deal? And I wanted to ask the guy, I didn't want to insult him, but I mean, you know why people go to Miami? It's a party town. You can throw a duck out there and get somebody to recruit out that way. But you know, on Hawaii, is the vacation mystique just not a reason to go there? And I was wondering about that, and also. I knew you knew. That's what I wanted to ask you. I didn't want to insult your guest because with my ignorance. But the only other thing too, do they not get the Japanese players coming from that way, being that close? I figure they go to some other school probably and don't play.
So
they probably come straight out of there.
A lot of them go pro.
Right.
I'm ready to share this with you. You're going to like hearing this.
Yeah.
So the majority of the Japanese and the Korean and Chinese actually go to the University of Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, in Fairbanks. That's because they're traditionally they don't have a football program up there, obviously.
Or if they're that good, they go to Stanford.
Yeah, or they go to Stanford. That's true. They go there, but
Stanford or Cal, or Cal, either one. But you know, they're that good.
Yeah.
So, and then to answer your question about like, is the vacation sense more not worth it? So.
I think that's what kills them some though. Is just
the
whole
it's isolated pretty bad. Yeah.
Well, no, it's just like a vacation destination. Like people don't realize that there's actually other stuff going on there.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
well, you know, it was always a big deal for the pros to go play at the pro mode just to go. You know,
and that's why Shane mentioned it. Yeah.
So I know that's why I heard
with the people over there. You know, and I'm not. You know, look, I absolutely I'm diehard state of Hawaii. I have so many aunties and uncles there. It's ridiculous. So,
really,
you know, we are Halleys, which is the white people over there. We're the Westerners. We are not favored as a particularly bona fide acceptance with everything because of us overthrowing the queen.
Oh, sure.
But to answer your point though about the question with regards to like the what is the whole like view of it? So where you're at, you can go down the road, you know, 2 hours down the road or wherever, and you're in another state. Right, so there's a thing is called island fever. It's real. It is very real. You have to have the realization, you can travel around the entire island of Oahu in 1 hour.
Oh,
but that's without traffic.
Look, I had a friend of mine's son was in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a Harley Davidson motorcycle. So he's going to be there 4 years or something. So he ships his bike over there. It's a 5-mile ride. I mean, he was riding in circles, and he just, he's like going crazy because he couldn't ride anywhere because it just wasn't. And he thought he was going to love being there, and he ended up not. Just
so there's only 3 highways too on Hawaii. There's H1 north south, H2 east. It goes around, and H3 goes right through the middle. H3 it goes to the volcanoes. So,
yeah.
All right. So I want to continue.
Sorry, I didn't mean back up. Let's go back to Atlanta.
So obviously experts now predict that Atlanta is actually going to win between 94 and 107 games, which is a tremendous turnaround. I'm absolutely.
Is that expert's name Brandon Keeler? Is that?
I'm excited at the fact that Atlanta has finally made relevance. But ladies and gentlemen, by the way, who's this gentleman right here? Mr. Matthew Thomas, who has not slept but one day in the last 4. So yes, he's bona fide exhausted. But I'm going to start with you actually on this one, Matt. According to both Fox Sports, ESPN, CBS Sports, and Infinity Sports Network, Atlanta is predicted to go between 94 and 107 wins. What is this feat? Atlanta got to 500. What does that mean to you, knowing that Atlanta is now only the 6th team in MLB history to get to 500 after starting 0-7?
Sheesh.
And by the way, you're called the GOAT thanks to our good friend John.
No, man. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, we kind of knew that this was going to happen. I mean, like I said, I said this before, man. Ray Charles in the dark could have seen that this was going to happen. I mean, it's I'm not shocked or nobody should be shocked that this happened, but the Braves are too talented of a team, and they're too well coached. Granted, some of the miscues and stuff that they're having now are throughout the season. They've played some really pedestrian games that they've won, but still, at the end of the day, we knew they were going to get back to 500 and they were going to contend for the division. So, is it good for them from a morale perspective? Yes. They've accomplished what only 5 teams before them have accomplished. But going forward, man, they just got to play better baseball. They got to play better baseball that we know that they're capable of playing.
There's a good question for you right there. Whoever wants to take advantage of answer that question. The question is, can they match up with the Phillies, Dodgers, and Padres? What do you think, Dave? Do you think they can?
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, especially the Dodgers.
Yeah, the Dodgers, they're a brand on itself. Phillies
are good too. I hadn't really been able to see the Braves. We got a weird system down here. We're all Cardinals all the time, so and that's our team, so it's okay with us. But I used to flick in between the Braves. We don't get them as much as we used to on a regular basis. They switch in and out. But it's going to be tough. The Dodgers and the Phillies, really, because the Phillies are always solid. But I don't know. With the Cardinals, we're above 500 now, so we're fully expecting to lose the next 20 games. We got a manager that can have all the talent in the world and drag them to the dirt anytime he wants to. It's really sad. We got some real good pitching prospects. So the minor league AAAs here in Memphis, and they're sitting on some loaded pitchers, and they can't get them up there because they got a lot of pitching. And we held on with Skeens the other day, so we had him. We were down from him from 1-0 all the way to the 8th inning, and finally beat him. And it was because of the pitching. Yeah, I don't know. Braves, hey man, that's good. When you come back like that, you get some hope anyway, doing things like that. But,
it's exciting. I'm not going to also ignore, and Shane mentioned this already. Where Matt works, it's only like it's a stone's throw, or literally 5 minutes down the road in Gwinnett Striper land.
Literally
Ronald Acuna,
literally a minute.
Ronald Acuna and Spencer Strider, they're coming. They're about to be here. Shane, let me ask you this, man. Knowing that Ronald Acuna Jr., knowing that Spencer Strider are only 1 or 2 weeks away, could that prediction of the 94 to 107 win, could it actually increase, knowing they are about to come bring their talents back to the Atlanta roster?
Well, I believe I shared this with you guys the other day in our message chat that we got. Last time the Braves were 16 and 18 at that time was in 2022. they ended up winning 100 games. So, as we've said before, just don't hit the panic button. Everything's going to be okay.
What did Aaron Rodgers spell it, by the way? What was that word again, Matt? Spell it.
RELAX.
That's really hard.
Don't do it
He's in the
when
dark
you
room
won't
right
get to it.
No, but you're right though,
Oh,
right? But I mean, honestly though,
but-
Shane, like, what do you think?
So-
Okay, let's just say that hypothetically they get to 107.
Here you go. I got you. I got you. I'll bring it full circle for you because I got a good bit. I've been watching them on the air tonight too. Man,
Which, by the way, they're up 2-0.
yes, and that was all 2-run jacks. When I'm going to sit here and talk about getting Drake Baldwin more playing time, and Sean Murphy hits a back-to-back jacks behind Ozuna. But I mean, it's ridiculous. Some of the things that we think of, but with Strider and Acuna, they're coming back from a long, lengthy rehab period that they've been in. A lot of people are saying that they've been rushed throughout the process on getting back to the higher level. With these guys, I don't know if that's the case because they are that elite of athletes and all out there that we see. I think that we ought to just relax, see how they do in Gwinnett. They've got what? How many? 5-6 games in Gwinnett that they're going to play.
Yeah.
And then they might come up. Just depends on how everything goes. I still think we've just got to wait it out. Just wait it out. Let these guys get in there. Let everything. Let kind of the dust settle. And we could be looking at a catcher situation, like with Darno and Murphy. Not last year, but maybe the year before, whenever he came in.
Yeah. I can see
where they split a lot of time. The only bad thing is we've got to find a place for Ozuna because it's not like when we had Darno that was able to go in and DH when the Big Bear went over to play.
So let me ask you this then, Shane. Okay. I even asked Brandon Godden. I've even asked Brandon Leak the same question. Brandon Leak liked this question I asked. Knowing what Drake Baldwin is doing right now, he's absolutely Red October on fire. And if he continues this path, which it looks pretty promising, does Atlanta consider trading Sean Murphy?
I haven't checked into the details of his contract, to see what we would be looking at as far as money going to other teams. What we've paid him, and what we got him for to what we might have to give up.
Exactly.
So I haven't looked that far deep into it, but Baldwin was a prospect in the first place. It's still young in his career, young enough to where, hey, we can have this guy as the backup catcher, and if we think that he's going to be better than that, let's send him down to AAA, measure his worth. If it's that good, we trade a veteran catcher.
I can see that,
and hopefully get some worth out of it. But it just depends. I mean, if the Braves take out the first 3 innings pitching this year, I think I looked at a stat. It was like they would be right there with the Dodgers as far as their win total.
That's crazy.
Because
That's
as many runs as their starters give up in those first 3 innings, it's for some reason you get out there, they can't get settled in till about the 3rd inning, and then once they do, they're lights out. But whenever they're playing good, like recently, it's been great to see good starting pitching. What good starting pitching leads to is a lot of bullpen rest. A lot of bullpen rest means a lot of time where other teams can't see what the bullpen has, and you get less productivity against opponents. So take it out as I think we're going to turn it around. I'm not going to say that 100 win, but I will say definitely playoff, if not hosting potential.
I like that. I like that idea too. All right, so Matt, they call every Atlanta team the cardiac kids, except for the Falcons. They call us the cardiac birds, and rightfully so. So Atlanta United, God, we have a bona fide soccer expert. He's about to come on and talk to us about the soccer world. But first, let me ask you guys this: can you know this? We've seen this obviously with the New York Mets. Money doesn't always mean anything. Doesn't mean you could have a $500 million roster and you still miss the postseason. Well, Atlanta United has what people would say one of the most talented rosters money wise. I mean, we have a guy that we're paying $30 million a year. Another guy we're paying $25 million a year. So let me tell you this. Let me ask you this, Matt, before I bring him on. What is going on with United? Only a 2-win team when you have that much talent. Like, what are we missing right now to sit here and say Atlanta United has literally the two best talented players to play the game, and they only got 2 wins. Like, what do you in your mind? What is going on with the United?
It's got to be something internal. It's got to be something like lack of leadership or lack of discipline. It just has to be, man. Coaching, you name it, man. I just think the whole, honestly, the whole organization kind of needs a rehaul, which is what they've done already anyway. But I mean, it's just all bad. It's all bad, man. And people keep waiting for them to hit their stride. But I think it's just man. When Atlanta United bust into the scene, they came, they won a championship. They came in hot. They came in hot, man. It's like things happen in reverse. This should have been going on first when the team was first inaugurated into the league.
Exactly.
And then we should have worked our way into the championship. But we just
not won the championship in 2018. But
yeah,
I mean,
that was like our second year. That was like the second year in existence.
Yeah, we're 3 years away from 10 years since they won the MLS Cup. All right, so guys, let me bring the soccer expert in, and then we're gonna I want to pick his brain a little bit about this situation going on in Atlanta. Ladies and gentlemen, our good friend John from the Pitch Grid podcast.
What's
All right, John.
up?
Let me ask you this. We're gonna go right into it, man. What is going on with Atlanta United? I mean, you and I talked about this. A 2-win team with that much talent. Matt just alluded to it's something. It's got to be something internal, right? Like, what do you think could be causing this?
Well, you look at so Robbie Dalla likes to play a very attacking style of football. And obviously the transfers they brought in with Emmanuel Latte-Lath for £22 million plus add-ons. And then Miguel Almiron, they bring him back for £16 million from Newcastle. That's a very aggressive. This ownership obviously is trying to make aggressive changes to the attack. Obviously last year the attack wasn't that great. And then this year you're seeing something that last year was a little bit of a concern, but now this year it's a full-blown problem. The defense. You are allowing simple errors like a bad back pass, and you're letting them score easily. I mean, Atlanta United only has 9 points at home. That's not good enough. 2 points on the road is horrendous. If for the attack they have, it's not good enough. But you need to address the defense because they don't have the center backs, and their wing backs they're not meant to defend, in short.
I like that. I like that and that right there you're talking about. But I'm having a hard time. We have a good friend, Abe Gordon, from 92.9 The Game, which will be joining us actually on the 23rd of May. But I want to ask you, I'm looking at the table right now for the Eastern Conference. There's only 2 teams that are worse than Atlanta, and that's Toronto and Montreal. What right now? I'm gonna and Matt, I want you to hone on this question too. Shane as well, Dave as well. What I'm gonna say this, John. You're the GM of Atlanta right now. I'm putting you in charge. What can we do to make this team be relevant? Because, you see the schedule is coming up. It's not an easy schedule. I mean, obviously Cincinnati is the dominant force right now. They're at 9-1-3. I mean, what can Atlanta do to get themselves back into even playoff consideration? Yes, it's still early, but what can Atlanta do right now to get themselves going?
So the transfer window opens June 16th, I want to say. If I am the director of football, I'm getting a physical midfielder, one who can dictate possession in the middle of the field. And then I'm getting one or two center backs that are good at headers, because Atlanta United has given up one of the most chances on set pieces in the entire league. You can't do that. If you're expecting to win, you cannot expect to win if you're going to give up so many chances on set pieces, off corners, off free kicks. Those are ways the teams can score. And if you're allowing if you don't have the height, the physicality at the back to be able to handle, say, the likes of Lionel Messi, a Carlos Heel, or a FC Cincinnati attack, or Columbus even. Let's not forget Columbus. They're also right there. You're not going to survive in the East. The East is loaded. So I'm getting one or two center backs. The attack is fine. Like Emmanuel Latelat has the best average rating. So rating out of 10, Emmanuel Latelat has the best average at 7.2. A satisfactory average is around 7, a rating of 7. So if you're below, and the other average ratings, if you look at like who scored or FOTMob, those are good stat websites. If you want to go look at some stats and dig into that, you see the others are hanging around 6.9 to 6.4, and you just want to see better improvement out of the midfield so you can dictate possession, because they're having sloppy passes also in that midfield. So I would say I want a midfielder and two strong center backs, and maybe a winger, but attackers in the summer transfer window are so highly coveted that I would be hesitant to try to get one. That wouldn't cost a ton.
I like that. Shane, you have a question about basically the I-85 rival that goes on with both Charlotte and Atlanta. Go ahead and unmute your mic and then ask him, sir.
Oh yeah, well, it's getting a little windy out here, so I didn't want that to interfere. But we've seen Charlotte's team kind of up and grow, and the fan base is kind of really taken off there with them playing there at Bank of America Stadium and all that, with the Carolina Panthers kind of taking on that hometown colors, just kind of like Atlanta did when they busted on the scene. Getting that red, that black, it kind of all meshes together. What do you see the rivalry kind of in taking? I know it's a bad start to the Atlanta season. I really haven't looked on Charlotte season yet because of everything else going on in the world of sports, especially in the North Carolina area, with the Canes and all that. So
Sure.
Kind of what do you see that rivalry kind of entailing here in the future, and do you see it being one of those good lasting rivalries that you see in other sports because of the distance and because of the competitive nature of the two teams?
I would say right now, Charlotte and Atlanta, I don't think consider each other rivals. Charlotte's rather new. Atlanta is more established, and I feel like they have more of a rivalry, I would say, with Inter Miami, especially after the playoff series last year. They've had a couple of playoff series against each other. They know each other really well. But Charlotte is an up-and-coming team. They have Wilfred Zaha they got from Crystal Palace in the in the winter, actually. They got him in the winter from Crystal Palace. He's a good attacker, and he's made Charlotte kind of relevant this year. It depends, I think, if Atlanta can bounce back. If Atlanta can bounce back and they're in the thick of the playoffs, Charlotte could be a rival, someone they might play in the near future in the playoffs. I would need to see them bounce back, though. Charlotte, I think, though, has a bright future. They have a lot of good attack. They're very solid at the back for the most part. They can be at times, though. Lately, they've kind of been a little porous. I would say just it's not the rivalry isn't there yet.
They got a little lull on offense or something like that.
A little bit. It's Charlotte can score. It's just they allow others to score too. Right now, Atlanta's in the opposite, where they were scoring and letting others score as well. They were kind of that same boat. Now it's Atlanta can't score a ton to save their lives.
They couldn't buy a goal, could they?
Barely. And they're letting these costly errors. They allowed a penalty, I think it was, to Austin or Chicago in their last 2 games, and they have one of the most yellow card accumulations in the league as well. I think Emmanuel Latte has 7 yellow cards, and I think he got suspended for a match because of that accumulation.
That's a lot. Well, guys, his name is John, the Pitch Grid Podcast. John, tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Oh, you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Spotify or Apple. We post short content, and we just dropped an episode today, so check us out. Greatly appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter as well if you want to follow us more closely there as well, or TikTok even.
All right, John. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. We're going to have you on again soon to talk some more soccer, because I mean we're in the thick of soccer war right now. We want to talk to you about it. So you take care of yourself, and then we'll talk again soon. Sound good, sir?
Sounds good, brother.
All right. So Matt, let me ask you this. We know now officially the primetime schedule has been released for the NFL. I'm actually really happy to say this. The Atlanta Falcons have 5 primetime games. What does that mean to you to know that our Dirty Birds have 5 primetime matchups? Come on now. You got to be excited, right?
Excited, but no, it's a kind of a tough schedule for the Atlanta Falcons. And I just don't want to be biased here. I know a lot of time want to be, kind of, cognizant of a lot of teams out there. But Falcons do have the same amount of primetime games as like the Chiefs and somebody else. I think Falcons have the 3rd most primetime games, if I'm not mistaken. So, man, I mean, it doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, it's going to mean one or two things, though. Either, more people
how about this then?
More people to watch the Falcons Falcon, or more people to watch Michael.
I was just about to say that. Wayne. What about the Falcons possibly doing a Falcon thing?
We'll see, man. I mean, you look at the schedule, man. Let me pull up the schedule. You look at the Falcons schedule, man, and you.
I do want to put this out too, by the way, folks. And this is actually, it tickles me to no end. There's 3 teams that don't have any primetime games this year. Matt, do you happen to know who those 3 are?
I don't, but I can put a guess in.
It is the Cleveland Browns,
on
the Tennessee Titans, and the New Orleans Saints. They do not have any primetime games. And Shane's over the point at me. They do not have any primetime games. What does that say to you right there, though, as well, Matt?
You said it, man.
Trash.
Well, why would they not give Cam Ward the opportunity to show his potential elite talent, as they claim it?
They will.
Who's Cam Ward going to throw the ball to?
The turf. I mean, the turf.
Who's Cam Ward going to throw the ball to? Who is he going to throw the ball to? Yeah. Why are we going to put Cam Ward on prime time to watch him get sacked? For what?
Because that's what they want to do. They did the same thing with Derek Carr. I mean, David Carr.
I'll tell you this. Who's running the ball up there in Tennessee? Do you know who's running the ball? Do you know who the starting running back is?
Well, actually, I don't. Do you? I really don't know the answer.
Nobody does. No, I mean, well, yeah, I do.
So John said they have Tyler Lockett and Tyler Boyd.
Exactly my point.
It is Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard, the old Cowboys running back. He's their starting running back. I mean, the team is a very porous team right now, man. They're not a good team, and they know it. They're rebuilding. They got their quarterback. They're gonna let him go through his growing pains. They got him solid what I call them, quote unquote, 700-800 yard esque type receivers. They don't get them a true number one. It's going to be. I don't know if they're going to win the game. To be honest with you, man.
Wow.
I don't know if they're going to.
You're going to sit there and say the possibility that they could go. Oh, that'd be the first 0-17 franchise.
Maybe a win against the. You know what? I'll be honest with you, man. Let's pull up the schedule. Let's put up the schedule.
Pull up their schedule. I want to look at the schedule real quick.
Oh, I got it.
They get the number one seed.
All right, so I mean, let's be real here. I'll be real honest with you here. Their first game, their week one game.
They're at Denver.
Is at Denver. Denver's defense. Okay. They play the Rams. They play against Matthew Stafford. Okay, that's a loss. Okay, maybe they can get some against Indianapolis. Who knows? They're gonna lose against Houston. You know, Arizona. Who knows?
I would say they get a win against Arizona.
No. They have an easier schedule to start. They have a schedule to start, but then it starts.
Then it goes to. Then you go back. You get the Chargers, the Texans, the Seahawks, the Jaguars, the Browns,
the Niners.
The Niners.
Maybe they beat the Saints. Maybe they beat the Saints. I just 3 wins at most. 3 wins at most.
So you're saying a 3-14 team.
3 wins at most, man. That's at most. I don't see them winning more than 3 games this season. So, no, you're not going to put them on prime time. You're not going to put Cam Ward on prime time. And yes, Cam Ward was number one pick in the draft, but, I mean, come on. I mean, honest. And I don't even know if they'll beat Jacksonville. I can't say they'll beat Jacksonville.
The team that he went to was picking number one for a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they were number one pick.
That is true. That is true. And they still have.
They're waiting on their new stadium and everything. They're going to take a while to build back. I would like to acknowledge that I am not a Tennessee Titan fan just because I live in Tennessee. Okay? They dumped us a long time ago. I don't forgive things like that.
No, man. I just don't see it, man. I don't see it. I don't see.
Don't disrespect Tyler Lockett.
I would never disrespect Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett has been a solid receiver for the Seattle Seahawks organization. The only problem is that it's 2025 and he is no longer with the Seattle Seahawks, and he has a rookie quarterback throwing to him in a pedestrian offense with a pedestrian running back in the pedestrian offensive line. That's kind of my issue with that.
Okay, well.
And then I mentioned a porous defense.
I was just about to say, you did say that. All right, so, we're basically what Matt is telling you is don't count your chickens till they hatch. So I want to switch up because I really want to address this with you, Matt. I really want to with this one. We saw the Cavaliers. They're bounced. We saw the Golden State Warriors. They're bounced. The Nuggets, they have taken the Thunder now to 7 games. Who gets bounced there? And then I'm not going to take this other way as well. The Celtics could get bounced tonight. They're playing against the Knickerbockers.
Starting right now, just about.
What does that say to you about is this like the tide is changing where little teams are not guaranteed wins? Remember back in the day, it used to be the lower seeds. You were guaranteed you were going to beat them no matter what. Now it's you're not guaranteed anything. And obviously the Cavaliers were the second best team in all of the NBA behind the OKC Thunder. But and OKC, they're on the brink of elimination. Yes, they're playing Jokic and all that stuff, but what does this say to you, though, Matt? Knowing that two big teams, obviously the Golden State Warriors, they were the 7th seed. They were still a very notable team, but the Celtics have a chance to get bounced tonight. The Pacers bounce the Cavaliers in 5. The Nuggets have a chance to bounce the Thunder in 7. What does that say to you?
Well, first of all, let's be real here, man. If Steph Curry was not injured, they would have Golden State would have won that series. And then not to take anything away from Minnesota. I mean, heck of a job from Ant-Man and his crew. But first of all, let's just give respect where it's due. If Steph Curry was there, probably would have been a different story. That's first. Second of all, the parity, man, the parity in the league. I see expansion coming soon for the league because these teams are just too talented, especially with this upcoming draft, which we need to discuss a little bit later in the segment. But with this strong draft, we're going to see a lot of stars come from this particular draft. A lot of future players that are going to be carrying these NBA teams. This is a very strong draft. Top 20, 30 players. Really good players in this draft.
So they said that this draft is the most stacked and loaded draft in over 15 years is what they're saying it is as the potential. And I was actually talking with this to Shane the other night about this is a draft that we have not seen since the LeBron times when LeBron was drafted. That's how loaded I feel it is. What do you think, Matt?
2003 draft is definitely loaded. 96 draft was definitely loaded. Those go down as coming to an 85 draft as well. Those 3 drafts go down as 1, 2, 3 in any order that you want to put them in, respectively. But this is going to be a good draft. And usually you can't tell if a draft is good until about 5 years into the respective careers. But the fact that we're about to see, okay, we're going to see Cooper Flagg with Dallas. The fact that what's scary to me is we're going to see Ace Bailey with Victor Wembanyama. That's going to be the scary thing for me.
That breaks my heart. And we waited. We didn't have you on last episode. And I wanted to wait. Atlanta has the 13th and 22nd pick in the draft. Who do you think Atlanta picks at the 13th? Or actually, what do you think they do at the 13th? Could they actually take a player? Or could they trade?
I think they should package it and move into the top 10. That's what I think they should do. Ace Bailey's going number 2. There's no way.
I could dream. One could dream, right?
Number 3. What about Harper?
Dylan Harper was going to. To be honest, I think Harper should go 3 to the Hornets. I think the Hornets need to trade LaMelo Ball and just build around Harper.
Hornets got 4.
But Harper, but the Spurs already got their guards. The Spurs already have their guards. I don't know why the Spurs will pick Harper. They have De'Aaron Fox and they have this past rookie of the year, Stephon Castle. So
I'm looking at mocks. That's what they say. Yeah. And then I'm a true believer if Charlotte's there and Ace is there, get Ace because I like him better.
I agree. Now, if Charlotte moved up to 2 and got Ace, I can see them doing that too as well. Ace would be a great pick. But you guys have Brandon Miller. Brandon Miller, Ace Bailey, they're kind of the same player. Ace is a little taller. I thought Brandon Miller would measure out taller than what he was, but he's only 6'7". I thought he was like 6'9". But Ace Bailey, I think Ace Bailey is going to explode in this league.
So let me ask you this, Matt, real quick.
Is crazy.
And I'm going to ask Shane this too. And I'm going to ask Dave this. I'm asking everybody this question. There's everybody who's watching everything. Was the NBA draft lottery rigged this year? You got to think about it. Luka Doncic gets traded. The best player on Dallas' team gets traded to help LeBron for the chance to win his championship. And and what did all the conspiracy theorists say? We'll go ahead and just give you the number 1 pick. I was literally thinking there was no way that San Antonio was going to get the number 1 pick. And then it comes down to the state of Texas is getting not only the 1, but they're getting the 1 and the 2. Like there has to be some smidge inside of you all that says this could be rigged, right?
Let's go back to 1985. What was it called? The first ever NBA lottery, which we've seen Patrick Ewing go to the Knicks, and I think it was the frozen envelope theory or something like that. Where the envelope was, had the Knicks logo. I think it was manipulated to ensure they got the top pick, something like that. Let's look at Chicago Bulls. 1% chance to get the number 1 pick in the draft. Derrick Rose was number 1 pick in the draft. He's from Chicago. Bulls need to lift up. They just had the terrible thing happen with Michael Jordan and Krause, and then you go draft Jason Williams from Duke, and he gets in a motorcycle accident, and then you're just there. Let's get the Bulls a spot.
So it sounds like you believe that it could be rigged.
Let's look at when LeBron got left Cleveland.
You won't answer it.
When LeBron left Cleveland. Let's give them the number 1 pick. And who do they get? They get Kyrie Irving. But you know what? That's not enough. It's LeBron James. Let's give them the next number 1 pick where they get Anthony Bennett. Although they should have drafted somebody else, like maybe Andre Drummond or somebody else in that draft, but they get Anthony Bennett.
Hey, speaking
of, I got 4 or 5 more.
I'm the premier conspiracy theory on everything on earth. So, that would surprise me either. But, that's my problem with college football every year. I've had trouble watching it over the years because, you get one game after another, just a wipeout slaughter, and then all of a sudden they score a few points, it doesn't matter who wins. It's that point shaving that always bothers me about that. And then you go into the basketball and this stuff like that. I was shocked. They keep the number 1 going to, when they got rid of Doncic, who knows that guy? Maybe he knew, maybe he didn't, but it is awful suspicious.
Well,
but back to you talking about the playoffs. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Real quick on the playoffs, it's just something I've seen for years. And I've been watching this junk since before y'all were born. And the thing is, it's health. It's health. Yeah, I'm dating myself. I mean, I can't.
Maybe me, maybe not them.
Well, I was watching. Let me put it this way: I was watching tape delay NBA games because nobody was watching the NBA. When I was a little boy, we had the Memphis Pros in Memphis. I went and watched Julius Erving play for the Nets. And we had Screaming Lehman, David Screaming Lehman and Johnny Newman were our stars, and we couldn't beat a dead dog, but everybody went to see them because you had Dr. J and them. But the thing was, playoff time comes every year, and I mean, like you said with Curry, I mean, when has he ever pulled? I'm not calling this a conspiracy. It's just the bad luck of the team. When you got everything riding on these guys, you just don't know. I mean, it's just like who knew the Cavaliers was going to lose Mitchell and things like that. It's just unbelievable. That's what wipes the whole team out. It's kind of everything rides on that stuff. It's health is what it is. It's and that's what bothers me about in NFL too. You're watching piece together teams at the end of the year in the Super Bowl and everywhere else. They're all staggered and driving around. I don't know what you do about it. My gosh, they got more more tools to their disposal to keep themselves healthy. But I'm not. Let me tell you real quick. Because I'm a Cardinal fan, our old manager, Whitey Herzog, he got this first time pitcher. I'm going to lose his name because I'm old, and he was the first muscled up baseball pitcher you'd ever see. I can't remember his name for crap right now, but he was kind of a freak of nature out there, and he was the thing. But he stayed on pulled something, torn something. Herzog was so mad at him one time. They were in a press conference. They said, "What about I can't remember his name. My brain's gone." And he said, "Well, I tell you what I think about it. He said, I think everybody could quit because, man, I got suspended for getting caught in the weight room at a high school because you couldn't lift weights and play baseball back in the day. You weren't allowed to in the 70s. But you were not before the 70s over. You were when baseball started and you played football. You weren't allowed in the weight room, and that's just the way it was. You see those old baseball players. You say, why aren't they muscled up? Well, this was one of the first guys, and I swear it's killing me not knowing his name. But Herzog gets up there and he said, and he was always hurt. He was supposed to be the stuff, and he's going to take the whole pitching staff with him and all this stuff. He said, I tell you what I think about him. I said, I think everybody ought to start drinking beer and eating steak again. Quit staying out of them weight rooms, because they're always pulling something. And, I never did a hamstring exercise in my life, and I never pulled a hamstring. I don't know what it is. They get muscled up. I swear, I think they overdo it sometimes.
I can get down with that cold beer and steak, though.
Well, they were as good a ball players as anybody else, man, they were still hitting the ball pretty good ways. They weren't knocking them out of the stadium, but, it's just hard to say. But it's health about that part of the NBA and the NFL and everything else. Who's going to be healthy at the end, even after the playoffs, man? Gosh, they beat themselves to death to get through that. I'm pulling for Jokic and them, not because I got anything against the other team at all. I mean, I'm all for it, but and I love Ant-Man and them. I'd love to see them go somewhere. But between them and the Thunder, their youth shows out a lot on that. I think they got pretty good coaching, really, but and coaching killed the Grizzlies. My gosh, we fired our coach. He wasn't a great coach. He was a good developer, but he wasn't a good floor coach. But we get in the playoffs with our second coach. They couldn't even get 5-second ball in, and it's ridiculous when they can't. I've seen that all the time now. They were explaining it today, and I said, no, it's bad coaching. And we just come off a timeout. They couldn't get a 5-second ball in. I mean, give me a break, With 5.4 left on the clock, we give the ball away and lost that game and got knocked out. But of course, he's a train wreck because he's going to fly through there and kill somebody or himself. I knew that when he came. Love him. We've never had
South Carolina's finest.
Oh man, we've never had a superstar like him. He's amazing. He's just a blast to watch. But my gosh, man, it's coming because that last time he got hurt, man, he's got knocked out of the sky like a bird, man. It was just terrible. But it's just the way it is, man. But anyway.
Well, let's continue because we only have about 10 more minutes left, and I'm going to ask this real quick for everyone. First, I want to let everybody know the breaking news for the Sportz Nutz. There's 2 breaking news stories. One, obviously, you guys see on my ticker. We hit the 1,000 subscribers mark tonight. Yay. Thank you to all those who helped get us there. But also, we will be broadcasting live on the radio station. Yes, TigerNation.live. We are currently on there Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will, in the coming days, we will actually share with you By the way, LSU just got knocked off by Southeastern Louisiana in softball. But we will let you know when we will start airing live. Matt and I are going to work with the station to get it going. Just want to let you guys know that one. And then I'm going to ask you that all this question. We're talking about conspiracies and whatnot. What is going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs? I mean, it's been 12 plus years since they have done anything relevant in the land of the hockey world. Basically, they've never made it past. Well, since I've watched, they've never made it past the second round, and they're in danger of being bounced this weekend to the Florida Panthers, which I absolutely do not like. But what do you think, Matt? I'm gonna start with you real quick. And I want you to quick answer on this one.
Hold on. I got one for you.
Okay.
Because I'm going to go ahead and give you just a little tidbit, because I don't want to talk about any of this until our guest on Tuesday.
Yes. We do have a good guest.
I'm waiting for that guest to start talking about this hockey stuff seriously.
Okay. Well, let's say this. This is a one answer question. Okay. Does a serious overhaul need to happen in Toronto? Yes or no, Matt?
Yeah, lower the Canadian taxes. That'll help them right there. So you get some
all I'm going to say is undisciplined. That's all I'm going to say. Undisciplined.
What about you, Shane? Matt said discipline.
More team, less star power.
I like that. Dave, one answer question. Go ahead.
Taxes.
Is it? I like it. All right, so let me ask you guys this question then.
Tariffs. Yeah, there you go.
Did the Indianapolis Colts, Matt? Did they break a bro code by their video that they released? That they deleted it, but they since apologized for it. Did they break a bro code or no? You're muted.
What did they do?
So they, how every team had they're starting to go to the video game style for releasing their schedules. They released it showing Tyreek Hill was getting arrested by the Coast Guard, and then they deleted that video, obviously. But did they break a bro code?
I think they took it a little too far.
Yeah.
I think
Tyreek's been beat up enough.
I think somebody got fired that day in Indianapolis organization. Somebody got fired that day. That's what I think happened. Yeah, man. You don't want to get into anything personal like that. You want to keep it on the field. Keep it strictly on the field. Now, if they would have did something like Tyreek Hill dropping a pass or something like that, okay. But keep it on the field. At least show them getting hit or something on the field. Just keep.
What do you think, Shane? Did they break a bro code?
Well, with the schedule release, I think a lot of teams broke bro code.
I like the Atlanta. Yeah, I saw the Atlanta Falcons where they did the Mario Kart. That was pretty cool.
Well, a lot of them went with kind of what's going on now with the Minecraft movie and all.
Who was the one that did the Minecraft one? Remind me.
The Raiders, I believe. That's right,
yeah.
And the Chargers, I believe, did a Minecraft one. But the Raiders did one, and they dropped where they were going to Dallas, and then they had the guy on the Jumbotron and a piece of the stadium falling down at the same time that had the fire, the manager after they traded Luka and all that.
Oh, fire Nico.
Yeah. the same guy that got kicked out. They had him on the Jumbotron as a piece of the stadium was falling down. They had a big glare of the stadium lights and all that.
That's okay. That's the Raiders, man. That's okay. Everybody calm down. It's just the Raiders.
Well, they're making fun of Dallas. So I think it's it was very creative what everybody did this year with their schedule releases and all.
Matt, you saw the Mario Kart, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, but
funny,
it's
right?
I want to get away from the hype of the schedule release. Has anybody realized that the Buffalo Bills are favored in all 17 games this year?
Yeah. What did you think about what did you think about the Eagles getting no back-to-back home games? Did that not sound kind of
that's fishy too?
Yeah. The world champs. You think they get a break on a little bit there?
Eagles don't need anything else.
I'm not an Eagles guy. I'm just saying
they don't need anything else.
Where they're playing,
the Eagles don't need anything else.
They don't need no help.
Yeah.
Hey, it wasn't their fault. It wasn't their fault they
Hey,
gave them
man.
a running back gift out of New York. You know?
They need no more help. Tush, push.
Yeah.
Hey, man, they need nothing else.
Yeah,
Crazy,
outlaw,
man.
outlaw.
Saquon.
Yeah,
Get gifted
Outlaw the
Saquon.
push.
Yeah, outlaw.
You know.
If you want them, put a defensive lineman in front of Saquon and tell him to go into
Let's not
the end
forget.
zone.
Let's not forget. They got gifted AJ Brown. They got gifted Saquon. They got gifted Jalen Hurts in the second round. They had the offensive line. They got gifted everything.
All right, so let me.
boy.
They lost Kelsey.
So wait, Shane, they're favored in every game, really?
Yes, the Buffalo Bills are favored in 17 out of 17 games this year.
That's crazy. Could you
Well,
imagine
their
Buffalo Bills going
quarterback stopped
17-0?
throwing the ball to the wrong team last year. That helped a lot. So they're going to do a little better. He's a bull, man.
He takes that buckshot approach whenever he goes out there. He's just going to keep
He's
firing
like-
he's going to keep firing until he hits something.
He's like Favre, ready, fire, and aim, man. Just let her rip, buddy.
Yeah,
Well, guys.
Come on, Tater Chip.
Hey, I forget. Yeah, come on, let her rip, Tater Chip. Hey, look, man, I apologize for going silent on soccer. All we know about soccer in Memphis, we had the 901. We got one of the greatest players they had in soccer, and they were tearing up the AAA ball field, so they said bye. So, we lost. They wouldn't build them a stadium after that. I don't know what happened there, but we lost a pro soccer team just because they tore up the AAA ball team stadium. So,
well, guys, we had an absolute fun, fantastic episode. Thank you to all those who tuned in. I do need to give a quick shout out to Addison's softball team, the Lady Patriots, y'all. They have qualified for the playoffs. Playoffs officially start Monday. We are the 9th seed, yes, but every team that we have played, except the team, if we win Monday, the team we played Tuesday, that's the only team we did not beat. Every other team we beat.
that's a blast, man. We had the night in the 80s. We had the Miller Lite playoffs here in Memphis in one of our ball fields all the time. It's just a blast to go watch. Me and my wife used to go watch. There's nothing like trying to hit a softball after you hit baseballs all your life with them girls. They can tear you up. Good luck to her.
Thank you. And please, everybody who's watching, if you can, send a message via Facebook, via Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, whatever you want to say, cheer on Addison and the Lady Patriots. If we win, we play every night until we lose, or we play until the 22nd, which is the championship game. Let's hope we make it there. Hey, we have a really good lineup coming up for us. Shane kind of alluded to it. So what do we have coming on Tuesday? We have a good friend. His name is Dave Preston. He is the radio commentator for the Washington Capitals. He also calls the games for the Washington Commanders. He knows a little bit about the Nationals as well. So we'll talk to him about that one. Then obviously, Matt, I know you were looking forward to this one. Friday the 23rd, Abe Gordon, 5.0 pops up on the board again. We're going to have our good friend Abe Gordon. And if you get a chance to, Shane, I want you to ask Abe about the Brandon follows Jimmy Bob from the basement of his mom's apartment or whatever. And it's absolutely a hilarious story. Matt, he tries to tell you it, he said it before, but it's going to be a really good episode. We're going to talk some soccer. We're going to talk some Falcons, whatever. We have a lot of things we're going to talk about.
We'll have Jody on too that night.
Yep, we will have quite a bit of people. And then also, guys,
great night.
The Friday, the 30th is our season 3 finale. We will take a week off, and then we start back up on Saturday. Friday, June the 6th is when season 4 begins. We will have a special guest, a gentleman. His name is Michael Crane. A really interesting story. Want you guys to check it out. But yeah. So for our good friend Brian McInnis of Spectrum Sports Hawaii, Matt, what do you tell these lovely people, sir?
Yes, guys, in the game of life, do not get flagged. It's the weekend. Go on, if you're gonna go drink, do it at the house. Play it safe. Don't get flagged in the game of life. You don't want the whoops behind you. While you're driving. It's not gonna be a good weekend for you. It's the weekend, by the way. It's coming up. It's the weekend. I mean, you're not gonna see no judge on Saturday. You're not gonna see the judge on Sunday. You'll be lucky to see the judge on Monday. So that means you're gonna be in there
Monday morning, 9:00.
Exactly. Maybe. And let's not talk about the food.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the food, but
the peanuts.
Yeah. And also just to remind you guys, the toilet is open for everybody.
Shane, what do you tell these lovely people, sir?
Oh man, as always, man, it's been a pleasure to be here for this long, and Hey, peace, love, and bacon grease. We'll see y'all on the flip side.
Peace, love, and bacon grease. Dave, what do you tell these lovely people, sir?
Bless you, man. Thank y'all for having me on. Good luck with your show. Congratulations on your milestone. And God bless all of y'all. And have a great weekend. And thanks for letting me sit in and hang out with you guys. Man, it's been a blast. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely, guys. I always tell you, peace up, A-Town down.
Yeah, Hank's learned to play guitar tonight. I mean, he'll be playing some LaGrange for you next week. So.
Oh, hey, I'll be down.
He can fling it.
As I tell you guys, peace up, A-Town down. Why? It's the greatest sports city there ever was. Braves, let's finish strong. We're up 2-1. Let's win this game, and then have a wonderful weekend, you all. Enjoy the outro, and good night.